Look, I'm gonna be real with you for a second. There are some brutal truths about life that most dudes just aren't ready to hear. But here's the thing, the guys who figure these out early, they're the ones who actually make something of themselves. Now, you've probably noticed that some guys just seem to have their crap together, while others are still acting like they're 15 years old. Maybe you've wondered what separates the men from the boys, or maybe you're tired of feeling like you're drifting through life without any real direction or purpose. These are 7 specific truths that will completely change how you see the world, and most guys never learn these because they're too comfortable living in denial. I've learned these lessons the hard way, and I want to help you skip some of the pain I went through. Which brings us directly to truth number 1, life isn't forever. This one hits differently for everyone, but it always hits eventually. For some people, it's losing a grandparent. For others, it might be losing a pet, a friend, or heaven forbid, a parent. For me, it was my mom, and that completely changed how I see everything about life. When you truly understand that life isn't forever, not just intellectually, but in your gut, everything else starts to make sense. All those things you used to stress about, the money, the grades, who likes you on social media, whether you're good enough or not at whatever hobby you're obsessing over, none of that matters when you're staring morality in the face. What matters is using your time for something meaningful. What matters is the people who actually care about you, not the ones who are just along for the ride. What matters is making sure that when your time comes, you can look back and say you didn't waste it. Have you had that moment yet? That loss that made everything click into place? If you haven't, I'm not wishing it on you, but I am telling you to learn from those who have. Look at your parents, your grandparents, your siblings. Really look at them. They're not gonna be here forever, and neither are you. And here's the thing. Once you accept that life isn't forever, it becomes more precious, not less. You stop taking people for granted. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You start living with intention instead of just drifting through your days. And once you realize life isn't forever, it forces you to ask much bigger questions. What are you actually gonna do with the time you have left? We're gonna come back to that at the end of this video, so stay tuned. But for now, let's move on to truth number 2. You aren't always going to be comfortable. This is probably the hardest one for our generation to accept because we've been raised to believe that comfort is the goal. Show up to school, get decent grades, go to college, get a job, work your 40 hours a week, and coast through life. That's the plan they sell you. But here's what they don't tell you. That plan leads to a mediocre life, and mediocre isn't enough anymore, if it ever even was, to be fair. I realized this before I even turned 20, and I'm grateful for that realization every single day. If you want to make actual real money and build real wealth, if you want to have an actual impact on the world, if you want to build something meaningful, you can't just do what everyone else is doing. You have to be willing to be a little uncomfortable. I remember sitting in my dorm room editing videos while my friends were out doing other things. There were nights where I questioned whether it was worth the effort, but looking back, those uncomfortable nights, those sacrifices are exactly what is moving my life forward. Again, that means working weekends sometimes. That means staying up late to build something while your friends are out partying. That means failing, getting back up, and failing again until you figure it out. That means taking risks that might not pay off. And look, I'm not saying you need to work 80 hours a week for the rest of your life. I'm not saying you should sacrifice your health or your relationships, but I am saying that growth and comfort can't coexist. If you're always comfortable, you're not growing. Think about it. When have you ever improved at something while staying in your comfort zone? When have you ever achieved something meaningful without pushing through discomfort? When have you ever met somebody without going to something you didn't want to go to? Probably never, right? The comfortable path is the path everyone takes. And if you take the path everyone takes, you're going to end up where everyone else is. Average, frustrated, and wondering why your life didn't turn out any way magical, right? It's that simple. Truth number 3 you have to learn is nobody is coming to save you. This one stings, but it's incredibly freeing once you accept it. Your parents love you, your friends care about you, but at the end of the day, your life is your responsibility. Nobody else is going to build it for you. You want a good relationship? You have to learn how to be a good partner. You want to be a successful career man? You have to develop skills and work hard. You want to be financially secure? You have to make decisions about money and learn about money in a way that's smart. Do you want to be happy? You have to figure out what that means for you and pursue it. I see so many people my age waiting for someone to come along and fix their problems. They're waiting for their parents to support them for forever, or for the perfect job to fall into their lap, or for somebody else to make their decisions for them. That's not how it works. Everyone else is too busy solving their own problems and dealing with their own lives. And honestly, that's how it should be. You're an adult now, or you're becoming one, and part of that is taking the responsibility of being an adult. Please take a second and be honest. Are you waiting for something to happen, or are you making it happen? This doesn't mean you can't ask for help or advice. It doesn't mean you have to do everything alone, but it does mean that ultimately, you're the one who has to make the decisions and live with the consequences. And here's the beautiful part. Once you accept that nobody's coming to save you, you realize that you don't need saving. You're capable of figuring it out. You're capable of building the life you want. It might take time, it might be hard, but you can do it. And ironically, accepting responsibility for your life is what allows you to stop caring so much about the opinions of others. Which brings us to truth number 4, not everyone will like you. This used to keep me up at night when I was younger. The idea that someone might not like me, might think I'm weird or boring or annoying, it was terrifying, but you know what I learned? It's actually liberating. People are going to dislike you for reasons that have nothing to do with you. Maybe you remind them of someone who hurt them, maybe they're just jealous of something you have, maybe you just rub them the wrong way for no logical reason, and that's okay. You can be the sweetest, most considerate person in the world, and someone will still find a reason not to like you. You can go ahead and bend over backwards just trying to please everyone, and you'll still end up exhausting yourselves while still not succeeding. So why waste your energy trying to win over people who have already decided they don't like you? Why change who you are to fit someone else's expectations when they might not even notice or care enough to notice? I learned this when I started making YouTube videos. Before I even uploaded my first video, I spent way too much time worrying about what other people would think. What if people from high school saw it? What if people thought it was cringy? What if people made fun of me? What if my family thought I was a loser? But eventually I realized something. If I let other people's opinions control my decisions, I'd never do anything meaningful. I'd never take a risk. I'd never get out of my comfort zone. So I posted the videos anyways, and sure enough, not everyone liked them. And honestly, looking back at them, they were kind of stupid, and they kind of sucked. But that's fine, because the people who needed those videos found them, and that's what actually mattered. And what mattered even more than that is I found what I love and what my passion is, and I've pursued it to this day. Here's what I've learned. The people who matter will like you for who you are. The people who don't like you, their opinion doesn't matter anyway. You're not living your life for them. This realization is so freeing because it means you can stop performing all the time. You can stop trying to be perfect for everyone and just be yourself. And the crazy thing is, when you stop trying so hard to be liked, people actually like you more because you're being authentic. Which brings us to truth number 5. You can't change other people. This one is brutal because we all have people in our lives who we wish would make a different choice. Who we wish would take a better path. Maybe it's a friend who's going down a bad path, or a family member who's struggling with addiction, or someone you care about who just won't listen to your good advice. You can love them, support them, be there for them, give them advice, but you can't make their decisions for them. They have free will just like you do, and they're going to use it however they want, even if it's destructive, without them realizing. I've watched friends make decisions that I knew were going to hurt them. I've watched people ignore advice, stay on the wrong path, and walk straight into the problems they could have avoided. And honestly, that hurts. Because when you care about someone, you don't want to sit there on the sidelines and watch them suffer. You want to help. You want to grab them by the shoulders and make them see what they're doing. You want to save them from the pain that's coming, but you can't, and that's the hardest part. I've learned that no matter how much you care about someone, no matter how much wisdom you think you have, people only change when they're ready to change, not when you're ready, not when you think it's best, when they're ready. And sometimes all you can do is be there for them when they finally decide that they want some change. But here's the flip side. If you can't change other people, that means other people can't change you either. You get to decide who you become. You get to choose your own path. That's both terrifying and empowering. And sometimes the best thing you can do for someone you care about is to focus on your own growth, show them what's possible by living it yourself, and be the example instead of trying to be the teacher. Which brings us to truth number 6. Friends aren't meant to be forever. Look, some of the people I thought would be in my life forever aren't anymore. They're already gone. Not because anybody did anything wrong. Life just happened. Think about your closest friend from middle school. How often do you actually talk to them now? Maybe they're still your best friend, but maybe they aren't. This one hurts because we're sold this idea of lifelong friendships, of having that one best friend who'll be there through everything. And while that sometimes happens, and if you have that, that's great, it's not the norm. People grow, people change, life takes you in different directions. Your elementary school friends might not understand who you've become. Your high school friends might not fit into your college life, and your college friends might not relate to your career ambitions or your family goals. And that's okay. It doesn't mean those friendships weren't real or meaningful or anyone hated each other. It just means they served their purpose for that season of your life. I've had to learn to appreciate friends for what they are in the moment instead of expecting them to last forever. Some of my closest friends from a few years ago, we barely talk now. We see each other twice a year. Not because we had a falling out, but we're just in different places of our lives and different locations. That being said, there's an exception to this: your spouse. If you choose to get married, that's the one relationship that's designed to last through all the changes and seasons of life. That's why it's so important to choose that person carefully. They're not just your romantic partner, they're your lifelong friend. But for everyone else, enjoy the friendship while it lasts. Learn from each other, make good memories, and don't take it personally when life pulls you in different directions. But always do try to reach out. It's nice to catch up and stay in touch at least a little bit. Which brings us to where we started, full circle moment, truth number 7, you have one life. This ties back to the first truth, but it's worth emphasizing. You get one shot at this, one chance to figure it out, who you want to be and what you want to accomplish, one opportunity to make your mark on this world. When I was 19, 20 years old, I watched my peers partying every weekend, sleeping through classes, just coasting through college without any real direction. And I realized something, we're never going to be this age again. Once this chapter of life is over, it's over. There are no do-overs, there are no extra years waiting for us on the other side. If you're going to take risks, if you're going to make mistakes, if you're going to chase something crazy, this is the time to do it. Your 20s are the cheapest time in your life to fail. You don't have a mortgage, you don't have kids depending on you don't have many responsibilities. If you mess up, you can recover. But as you get older, the stakes get higher. Other people start depending on your stability. And maybe that's a little scary to think about. One day you'll blink and college will be over. You'll blink again and you'll be 5 years older, then 10. Time moves a lot faster than you think it does. So if you have a dream, chase it now. If you want to start a business, try it now. If you want to move to a different city, do it now. If you want to learn a new skill, start now. I'm not saying your life is going to be over at 30, that's ridiculous, but I am saying that you'll never have the same freedom to take risks that you have right now. Use it. But even beyond the risk-taking aspect, just remember that this is it. This is your one life, one collection of days, one story that you're writing whether you realize it or not. Don't waste it trying to live up to other people's expectations. Don't waste it being someone you're not. Don't waste it playing it safe when you could be doing something meaningful. Because at the end of your life, you won't regret the opinions of strangers. You'll regret the chances you never took, the dreams you never pursued, and the person you could have become if you'd just be willing to try and be great. But now that you understand these 7 brutal truths about becoming a man, there's one area where guys constantly misread signals and make mistakes that could be avoided. Understanding when someone is actually interested in you versus just being polite. So check out this video where I break down how to tell if a girl likes you. Because once you've developed the mature mindset, you need to know how to recognize genuine interest and avoid wasting time on situations that aren't going anywhere. Check that video out here.